You're listening to the Kathy Owen podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Owen, certified fitness trainer, life coach, motivational speaker, and founder of the Silver Wellness Academy. I help others create healthy habits in their life to sustain a happy and healthy life. Today, we're going to talk about toxic positivity. What is it and why I can't stand that term? See you inside. I don't use the word hate lightly. I was taught as a child by my Sunday school teacher back when I was in high school. He was a Marine who fought in the Korean War, and he said, never use the word hate. And so every Sunday, we would talk about what were going on in our week, and somehow or another, it would go back to the lesson that he would have. And if anybody used the word hate, he would get on them and he would change them. So every time I use the word hate, I think of Mr. Fry, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry I said that word. But when it comes to the term toxic positivity, I really hate that term. And it's something that's new out there because this has not always been there. It's the thing of the kids nowadays. They all say it. Even a therapist is writing a book called Toxic Positivity. And I'm like, there is nothing freaking toxic about positivity. That's just asinine. Okay? But I can see where they're coming from, but it's not toxic positivity. What it is forced positivity. You're forcing positivity on somebody who's going through some of the stages of grief. And the stages of grief you have to go through to get to out of even talking about positive things. You have to go through those stages. And so a lot of times people are forcing positivity on somebody who's going through denial. And when they're going through denial, which is a stage of grief, they're going to come back at you and go, well, that's just wrong. And that's what they're doing. They're coming at you with the victimizer crap. Get over it, dude. So where I come from, I don't even let that in my chi. If they're going through stages of grief, go on, honey. There you are, right there. You're in denial right now. So I know not to wake that sleeping cat. Let's not even talk about positive things right now, because that's going to come back to bite you in the butt. That's what happens when people call positivity toxic. There's this little gal that I followed on Instagram, and oh my God, back during in June of 2020, when the race situation was going on, this gal on her platform, she's if anybody disagrees with her, she gets pissed. I mean, pissed, and you have to agree with her. She's all about, there's this new thing out there now called what is it? She's thin entitlement, or no, what it's called skinny thin privilege, whatever. You're privileged because you're thin. And I'm like, what the flip? You're privileged because you're thin. Okay, that goes along the same lines as white privilege. It's like, I'm sorry, just why are you apologizing for something that you're born with? I don't get it. And she's always cutting people down for what is their transformation photos. She can't stand those. I mean, okay, well, some people like that, and that's fine. Let them be that way. I don't like what you're doing, but I don't go on my thing and go, oh my God, I got thin privilege and I better feel bad for myself. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm older and I just see these kids nowadays, and they just come up with all kinds of terms for all kinds of things. This gal, I don't know for sure, but I'm because I can't. I don't let this stuff into my chi. But I'm sure she calls my stuff toxic positivity because when we hit COVID, that girl went into a tailspin. She was in all the stages of grief, like probably 10 times over. And I get it because, especially these young kids, and she's 25, maybe she's 30, I don't know. She's right in there somewhere, but um she would go on to her thing and tell her followers, it's okay if you feel sad. Don't let people tell you you need to be positive because it's okay. She's right, absolutely. But if I came on there and told her, look, you're going through the stages of grief, oh my god, she would have victimized the crap out of me. Because she did victimize the crap out of me because I made the mistake of commenting on her post when the race thing was going on. She was going, if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. And I'm one of those people that don't believe in getting angry to solve anything because I understand the power versus force with David Hawkins, the levels of consciousness, and anger is in the force consciousness. So when you're angry, you're forcing things, you're forcing things. But when you come up to acceptance and love and light, you're in power, and you're going to solve things a whole lot better than in anger. So my thought was, well, I'm going to go in there and say something like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I know I said, well, I'm not, anger never solved anything. I know I said that. And then I said something about following Abraham Hicks and Aaron Dowdy and what they say on it. And she cracked me up because she comes back to me and she goes, well, I'm not following those white people. They don't understand. Oh, okay. Well, Abraham Hicks is not even a person. I didn't say this to her because, oh my God, she had just lost it on me. And people were laughing at me and everything. Her followers, I'm like, oh, y'all poor low lost souls. But Abraham Hicks is channeled by Esther Hicks. And so um, that's a spiritual entity. And I have never once heard ego come out of Esther Hicks through with Abraham whenever she's channeling Abraham. Never once have I ever heard her say that. And so when this race thing was going on, Abraham was talking about it from a level of power, not anger. And so is Aaron Dowdy. And Aaron Dowdy is white. And Aaron even felt a sense of white privilege too. I sensed that from him as well. But it was like, okay, you know, you can't help it. That's what you were born with. I've listened to several people, and I understand the dynamics of everything. I understand the genetic dynamics, that things were passed down through generations, and I totally did my research on it. But this is not what this podcast is about. I don't even talk about that. So let's go back to toxic positivity and where she was when she jumped at me and started victimizing me. She was in victim mentality, and you're never going to get into power with victim mentality ever. Never ever. You have to get out of it. You've got to go through those stages of grief and overcome it. And eventually she did, but then she's on to something else. She even told me in a private message that her mom was a therapist, and she understands psychological theories and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, the when I was her age, I probably would have thought the same way. But through life experience and what I've learned and what I've studied, I know that that's not a healthy way to live in victim mentality. I know that. So, toxic positivity is just an illusion. It's an illusion because you're stuck in the levels of grief. You're stuck in the levels of force. You're forcing the world. But look at this. There's 4 principles you can serve that are not toxic, and they are very, very positive. So here's a principle of truth. It's principle number 1. What is that? Well, in the Bible, it says to focus on all things that are true. what is true, what is pure, what is right. When you're in anger, you get you get sucked into the pendulum, and you get sucked into other thoughts of other people, and you get into a place where you can't function properly because you're in force. But truth is power. That's what resonates. That's what's going to bring you up to a level of calm and peaceness, no anger, no release of cortisol, no release of adrenaline, no release of dopamine. It's just calm. Okay? You can make a whole lot better decisions when you're in power. Number 2, integrity. How are you working from integrity? Integrity is a big word with me. I have a lot of self integrity. I don't account to anybody but my higher self. That's my main purpose. So, right now, I work at OcuSoft. I'm an employee there. I hold myself at extreme high integrity. If they tell me to cut grass with scissors, where are the scissors? I'm gone. I will do anything they ask me to do because I'm on their time, and I am very loyal to my company. I'm very loyal to who I work for. You won't hear me complaining about what they're asking me to do. They're paying me. I love my job. I go in there with an attitude every single day of how I can improve somebody's life. I don't ever think, oh my God, I gotta go to work today. What a bummer. Ever, never. I won't allow myself to do that because I hold myself to high integrity. I go in there every day. How can I improve something around here? How can I make something better? How can I bring this energy up? How can I help right here? How can I help right here? I don't just do my job, I do more than that. I bring energy into there. I'm practicing Ho'oponopono all the time, practicing that on everything. My food, my coworkers, my job, my work, and I do everything with love from integrity. Okay, so the third principle, courage. Wow. Courage. How do you live your life with courage? Well, first of all, to me, you live life with confidence. You don't hold things to yourself. You go out in the world and you share what you know. You share what makes people's lives better. You share what you see, but you don't do it with judgment. You share it with love. You share it with truth. You share it with integrity. What does that mean? Well, let's say there's something going on and everybody's arguing and they're all mad, and you're going to jump in there. Here's me. I don't like confrontation. You already know that. I don't like it, but I will jump in there from a place of non-judgment, a place of integrity, and call them out. It's like the gal on Instagram where she's like bitching about being angry. Really? What a waste of energy. What a waste of energy. I mean, she went so far as to go and look at my profile and notice I quit following her. Little did she know I quit following her a long time ago. The only times I go back to her is to check and see how that toxic positivity is working for her. And let me tell you, 6 months later, it's still not serving her. She's still trying to find another way to cut down somebody else in a judgmental way. That's not kind. That's not coming from courage. That's coming out of fear. Out of fear because she's judging herself. Because when you judge others, you judge yourself. I mean, by me judging her right now, I'm pretty much judging myself. Absolutely, I sure am. And I'll take responsibility for that. But I'm trying to portray an issue where toxic positivity doesn't work for you because you're serving principles of illusion, not principles of courage. To confront people about something you don't believe in, you come from a place where it's not so hateful. Because really, I'm coming from a place of love by telling her this, that anger never solved anything, because it didn't, because I know that, because on the levels of consciousness, anger's not going to solve anything. You have to come from a place of power. I was trying to help her reach that, but she didn't want to see that. And it took courage for me to do that, because I also wasted a lot of energy just putting it out there and then arguing with them for, 30 minutes or so. And then I had to just let it go. And honestly, I still haven't let it go because I'm still talking about it, but I'm using it as an example. But I don't waste energy on that, because that's a waste of energy. It's a big waste of energy, and I got a lot better things I can spend my energy on. So, the fourth principle, and it says, above all is love. Love, unconditional love, is high on the levels of consciousness. One thing I really know about is unconditional love. I love my children unconditionally. That's easy to do. Even though they're my boys were raised in a home where the dad, my ex-husband, and the stepmom, who pretends to be their mom, they both suffer from narcissistic personality disorder. So therefore, one of my sons has it as well, because he was raised in that environment since 4 years old, where there's these two parents who my ex-husband took him from me, so he raised him most of the time. So this is a reflection on him. A narcissist loves with conditional love. Conditional love means I will love you if you do this. I will do this if you do this. I will only love you if you're behaving like this. Unconditional love does not work that way. So I had to learn that the best way to love my boys was unconditionally, because that way I'm not putting restraints on them. They're so used to that they don't know how to operate with unconditional love. Therefore, especially my oldest boy, who has the same disorder as his dad and stepmom, that he only loves conditionally. He cusses me out. He talks ugly to me. He's very disrespectful. I don't raise somebody to be that way. If I talked to my mom the way my son talks to me, my face would no longer be attached to my body. And thank God, because that is not kind. I mean, I'm the person that brought him into the world, carried him for 9 months, nurtured him as a baby and as a child. That's unconditional love. So I had to learn how to draw a boundary that set up that unconditional love, because to protect myself, I still love him. If he needed me, I'd be there for him in a heartbeat. But my boundary was this: you need help for your disorder, then I'll have a relationship with you. Because you cannot have a relationship with narcissist personality disorder, because their love is only conditional. I'll only have a relationship with you if you break up with your boyfriend, if you get out of that house, if you get out of that car, if you do this. But they don't come up with solutions where you can still be involved in their world. So if I break up with my boyfriend and I let you cuss me out and I let you treat me like crap, and then I do all that you're asking me to do, what does that entail? Are you still going to treat me like crap? Absolutely. He would. He would, because that's how a narcissist is. Their love is conditional. That's the only way they roll. So let's go back to unconditional love. Unconditional love doesn't expect you to break up with your boyfriend. It doesn't expect you to leave your job. It doesn't expect you to do anything. If you're happy where you're at, which I am, here's another absurdity that goes along with that. He thinks that I need to be traveling and I need to be seeing this and I need to do this and I need to do that. I'm happy where I'm at. But he doesn't get that because he's stuck on his reality, only his conditions. Hey, I'm happy for you that you get to travel and you get to go do all that stuff. That's great. But that's not for me. And I'm not missing out on anything, I promise you. So, toxic positivity comes from conditional love. Conditional love expects you to follow those rules or they're not going to love you. Unconditional love will let you follow those rules and still love you. You could still be ugly and hateful, and I still love you with all of my heart. 100% of my heart. So, the principles of truth, integrity, courage, and above all, love. Serve those principles. Those principles are not toxic. They are positive. Positivity saved my life because I refused to go down into victim mode. In victim mode, you can commit suicide in victim mode because things are so bad. That's the goal of the ego, to get you to kill yourself because, oh my God, things are so bad. But when you serve principles of truth, integrity, courage, and love, you're not going to go there. You're going to go to the places of power, not force. I mean, force will make it so bad that you will commit suicide. Don't worry, I've been there. I've been so mistreated that I wanted to die. Absolutely. That's why I say positivity saved my life. Power saved my life. Power saved my life. Quit serving the principles of illusion and find your principles. The four of them are truth, integrity, courage, and above all, love. And you will find when you serve those principles that your world is always taking care of you. And you will transform your life in magic action. Thank you for listening today. That's my podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And be sure to visit www.kathyowen.com for more information on building a healthy habit to create a life you love and transform your life in magic fashion. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace out and namaste.